Are you stupid or something? You probably are, and buddy, that's alright. You're in the right place to learn some stuff, so stick around and you just might. My name is Notme, and I'll be asking some Q's, and at the end you'll be riddled with A's. You might score real high, but even if not, you'll sure be glad you played. If you're looking for prizes, just move along, there's no money for you to earn. You win by trying and doing your best, your prize is the stuff you learn. If you want to be an artiste, you have world of art. So engage with this quiz, and at the end you'll say, I am smart.
I'm not me. I'm Art. And I'm your host for I Am Smart, the Notme quiz. The quiz where people look to improve their art through learning and strive to earn the right to say, I am smart. The format of the quiz is very simple, very straightforward. We've got 3 rounds of questions. We've got 3 musings, and we've got a bonus round at the end. 20 points overall. That's what you're gunning for in this quiz. 20 points overall. All you're going to need for this quiz, something to write with, something to write on, piece of paper, whatever. A brain for thinking, and an imaginosphere for imagining. What is that? What is that? Oh, that's the laptop. Oh, we'll deal with the laptop in a minute, guys. We will deal with the laptop in just a moment. Optional is a beverage, because whilst it's nothing to do with the actual quiz, we do like to kick things off with a toast. So here we go. I hope you've got our beverages at the ready. Here we go for a toast. If you can hear the clanging in the background, it's a pipe that is making sounds for reasons I cannot specify. Here we go. Here's a toast. Here's a toast. To the white stripes, who taught us all that when trying to make a name for yourself in the music world, it's a good idea for married couples to pretend to be siblings, blurring the lines between family members and lovers. It's just a fun thing to do. To the white stripes. Cheers. Just a lovely bit of water. I'm keeping it healthy. Lovely bit of water. Hello, Smarties. Who have we got? Who have we got? Roblet says hi. Hi to you. Sarah Kilch says, on a mountain, sketchy signal, no Wi-Fi. Please pick category for Killer Kilch, not me. Oh, can do. On a mountain. On a mountain, my word. Although, escaping from technical difficulties, which must be fun. Who else have we got? SJBeck72. Hi, everyone. Hi, not me. Hello, SJBeck72. Women of the wilderness today. Well done. Hopefully you don't get attacked by any wild animals. If they do approach, if we can learn anything from the movies, it's from Snow White. Start singing a lovely song in a slightly higher than is comfortable to listen to register. The animals should come flocking around. Now, obviously, when it comes to Snow White, it was little blue tits, it was little squirrels, perhaps chipmunks. But I think even if we're coming into contact with porcupines, some kind of eagle, a mountain lion of some kind, it should still work the same, I would imagine. It should still work the same. Thank you very much for tuning in as much as you are able to. It's underneath. Cameraman George, hello to you. TB, hello to you. TB, Maple Panda, hello. Super Nash 18, howdy all. Howdy to you. So the reason that I look like I've lost my glasses and I'm having to look at the chat on here is funny story. I'm going to laugh at it one day. Oh, it looks like today's the day. So shortly before the quiz starts, a little scar, a little behind the scenes action here. Before the show each week, generally about 15 minutes before, I will restart my Apple Macintosh computer. And in doing so, it's always a good idea to restart your computer periodically, just to kind of purge out anything. They always say, if something goes wrong, switch it off, switch it on again. That must do something. I just feel like it's a computer equivalent of maybe taking a shower. Just get all that nonsense off me. Just get the day off me. So I did that, about 15 minutes to go. And in order to run my live-tainment, I need a program called Streamlabs, OBS Streamlabs. That's working at the moment. That's how we're able to be live with each other. A program called Pretzel Rocks, which plays the non-copyright music that you are listening to for part Pretzel of the countdown. So thank you very much to Pretzel for getting into gear eventually, but it was very slow waking up. Taking a shower that's a little bit too long, perhaps. And Firefox. Firefox is the browser that I use specifically for my Notme excursions, for my art, for my creativity, for my live-tainment. It's where I keep my spreadsheet, where I keep all the quiz questions and answers, and where I keep Twitch so I can see the chat. Now, we're about 15 minutes in. I'd say, well, about half an hour after I've restarted now, and Firefox is still. If I could show you, it's just it says so much by saying so little. It's just a flat black thing. It's just a window that's popped up and then nothing. So I can't see this. I can't see the chat. I'm having to have the laptop here so I can see any kind of chat. A real glimpse behind the magician's cloth, not me. I'm an open book, Maple Panda. I'm an open book. I'm happy to give it to you. This pipe also is kind of driving me mad. So, why is that happening? Because the building I live in is old, and that means it's bad. But we're getting through it. Uncle Town Yo, hello to you. TB Douglas, oh dear, tough day. Yeah, pretty tough day, DB. Pretty tough day. But I'm here. I think I can remember the answers to the questions. And I have a lot of lovely people in the chat who are with me and are supporting me. And that's all I can ask for. And I've got a pipe that as I say, is driving me mad. So, last week the high point scorer was Killer Kilch. So Killer Kilch does earn the right to choose a category. However, Killer Kilch today, as we've heard, is up a mountain. And so Killer Kilch will be unable to choose that. She has lost, therefore, her privileges. Luckily, we have the round selector. We have 12 multicolored eggs in there. No prizes for guessing where the green ones are. Thank you, is that TB? Yeah, thank you, TB. Thank you, TB. I appreciate that help. So what rounds have we got? Let's take the chat box off. Let's pop the rounds in. Yay or nay, Spotlight, Nart, Gimme 5, Red Herring, Song Lyrics, Who Dat Artiste, I Know That Voice, Odd One Out, Movie Ladder, Iconic Art, and Anagram a Ding Dong. So mostly the same as last week with a couple of changes. Wait, is that true? We've got to look close, haven't we? But which means that we but we've got all the other ones. So we've got 13 rounds this week? That can't be the case. What haven't I put in there? I haven't put Iconic Art in there. Okay, so we don't have Iconic Art because there's not Iconic Art in one of the eggs. We're just going to choose them. Okay, here we go. Can we have some... what music did we pick last week for the choosing? It was really quite powerful, wasn't it? Oh, these are locked. I guess these must be for if you want to pay money, which I don't. Thank you, Pretzel. All the best, but no, I'm not going to do that. Let's go for some EDM. Let's go for some EDM, electronic dance music. Yeah. Is that coming through? No. There we go. Okay, let's pick some rounds. Gosh. Bierka Shah says Monkey Pixie Funk. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, what have we got? We've got I Know That Voice. We've got Odd One Out. We've got Yay or Nay. Gosh. 2 kind of multimedia-y ones. That's exciting. That's exciting. Let's start with... I think we should start with Odd One Out. What about you? Do you like that? Yeah, let's start with that. What a graphical representation of what that means. Odd One Out. So basically, Odd One Out, I'm going to show you a pic. Oh, what we can do. Cameraman George. Cameraman George, could you give people the instructions for Odd One Out, please? Cameraman George. And let's keep our fingers crossed that this works. This is something I... Oh, Cameraman George. Look at that. It's all in the chat for you right there. In the Odd One Out round, we will show you 4 pictures of things. You'll earn 1 point for every correctly identified thing. The final point will be earned by describing what links 3 of the answers and therefore which is the odd one out. Don't write your answers in the chat though, okay? Okay, so we've all got it sorted. We've all got it sorted. This one's tricky in terms of working out what I need to reveal first. So, we've got our questions. We've got our questions. This is what we're working with, guys. This is what we're working with. So each of these represents a movie. A movie. Okay, these are from the posters of 4 different movies. If you need a little bit more help, I've got some initials here for you. So we're going 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. This is questions 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then question 5, what is the odd one out and why? I'm going to need that why, guys. Because otherwise this is just a 25% chance of getting it right. So I need to know what these 4 films are and then which one is the odd one out and why. That's what I'm looking for, guys. That's what I'm looking for. If there are any questions, let me know. Although there shouldn't be because of the fantastic work that Cameraman George did in terms of outlining the rules to the quiz. I don't even have my jacket on. Whilst you answer that, I'm going to get my jacket on. What a morning! What a morning! Oh. That's a little better. That's a little better. How are we all doing? How many people have we got? 5? That's not great. All right, let's try and shut down Firefox again. Let's try it. Let's try Firefox and shut it down. Oh, I'm over that. It needs to be over that. There we go. Let's just quit because you're not doing anything, are you, Firefox? Firefox, it's trying to wreck my vibe, I think. And you would have thought that some kind of mythical fox sprite that happens to be on fire would be inspiring in some way. If you saw a fox that was on fire in the wild, and obviously, hopefully not one that had just been immolated and was, screaming for its life, that would be a terrible sight to see. But if you saw some kind of fox sprite in the woods, I would assume it would give me some kind of quest or life advice for which path to take. But what I'm learning here from Mozilla Firefox is if I was to see a firefox in the woods when I was out on a hike, it would probably be asleep. Deliberately, just to mess with me. Right, is this going to work now? Stream Manager, please, Firefox. Oh, now you work. Oh, we're at 12:25. Oh, now you work. How exciting. My word. My word. Cannot cheer in your own chat. I'm not trying to cheer. I'm not trying to cheer. Pop out chat. There we go. And now have we got chat back? We've got chat back. Connecting to chat. Okay. We've got chat back, guys. Guys, we've got chat back. Got to have the jacket for the quiz. Yes, absolutely, TB. I agree with that. Super Nashwan 8 says full moon. Cameraman George, Mercury is in retrograde, but don't worry, it finishes on the 3rd of Feb. Are we... Sorry, are we... Was Mercury in retrograde, and nobody told me. Nobody told me that Mercury is in retrograde. Of course, Mercury being in retrograde means that I can blame everything that's wrong in my life on Mercury being in retrograde. I am guilt-free, guys. Guilt-free. Builder's crack. Oh, apologies, guys. Apologies. I'll just pop them up. Pop them up. That's fine. You weren't supposed to see that. You weren't supposed to see that. I mean, you're never supposed to see a builder's crack, are you? Never supposed to see that. So that is the questions. Those are the questions for Odd One Out. So let's get rid of the thing and get rid of that and get rid of that. And that's the round over. Right? Wrong. In every single I Am Smart the Not Me quiz round, we have our 5 questions to test your brain and 1 question to test your imaginosphere. Let's get those imaginospheres working. And now the difficulty with an odd one out musing is that for most musings it will be based on what the round is about. But aside from knowing that they are movies, if I tell you what the round is about, then that spoils some of the questions. So really an odd one out musing is kind of whatever I want it to be. There are no boundaries. And so we're kicking off with a killer. What's your favourite art right now? That's it. That's all I'm asking. What is your favourite art right now? This could be a movie. This could be a TV show. This could be a book, a play, a musical, a painting, a sculpture, a poem. Whatever you want. But what is your favourite art right now? Right now. That's what I'm after. That's what I'm looking for. Okay? That's your musing. I would, at this point, like to issue a formal apology. It has come to my attention that earlier on in this livetainment broadcast, my bot crack, my builder's bum, my my rectal crevasse was exposed. And that's a real shame. That is something that I like to keep for myself. And even I don't like to see it that often, to be honest. I didn't mean to horrify. I didn't mean to titillate you this afternoon. This should be about the quiz and not distracting you from the quiz. If you have been left pondering the crack twixt my buttocks, I apologize, and I command you, stop it. Stop it. I think legally I'm out of the woods now. Let's go back to Maine. Woo! Woo! How are we doing? SJBeck72, not me quit. That's lovely. We're not looking for. We're not looking for. Please don't write the musings in the chat yet. Please don't write the musings in the chat. I will instruct you of when to put them in the chat. Shut up, pipe! Stop clanging. You just have a little write down on your piece of paper underneath your answers. As you're writing the answers, also write that musing, okay? No worries, Maple Panda, no worries. All of the answers, you don't write anything in the chat other than messages of encouragement or literal chatting until the end. We'll go through all the answers, okay? What other rounds do we have? Yay or nay? Let's do yay or nay. Angry vibes today, says TB. Well, yeah, TB. I'm a little angry today. I try not to let it affect me. these things that are sent to try me. I try not to let them affect me. But we've got the pipe. We've got the Firefox. We've got pretzel, although it did try to, it did somewhat redeem itself. I almost fell over trying to pick up my slippers this morning because the little coil of Velcro thing that goes around my the charging wire to my phone that I keep by the side of my bed, gripped to my mucklucks, my slippers, and it was very difficult. And also it's really cold today. Currently, we are looking at, I don't know what this is in new money, in old money rather, but in UK style, it is currently -6, feels like -12 today in New York City, and that's too cold for me. So there are several annoyances that have built up, and I'm doing my best to work through them, and I think I'm doing a phenomenal job. But if there are some little flecks, little bursts out there over the course of this live-tainment transmission, I put myself in the faith of my audience, my smarties, my tuber smarties, and I ask you to forgive me. It's not becoming to be so aggressive, even though it is becoming more and more fashionable, especially when we're on the internet. But I'm going to do my best to maintain positivity, and then later probably just scream into a pillow for 6 or 7 minutes, and then just hopefully purge it all out. Okay, let's move on with the yay or nay round. Okay, here we go. Now that is chilly willy weather, says Monkey Pixie Funk. Absolutely, absolutely. There are a lot of chilly willies today in New York City. So yay or nay round. Yay or nay round. So this is very, very simple. Cameraman George, could I ask you to lay down the rules for the yay or nay round? It's nice and simple. Nice and simple. Cameraman George can confirm that it is very cold. Maple Panda, much colder than Mexico. Absolutely. This is one of the days I imagine that George wishes that he was back south of the border where it's a lot more caliente. Yeah, I'm sure that's most days, to be honest. He does have a family down there. He does have a family down there. In the yay or nay round, Notme is going to read 5 statements. You're either true or false. If you think a statement is true, you write yay on your answer sheet. And if you think the statement is false, you write nay. Nice and simple. 5 statements. But what are they about? Well, very fittingly, as we were just talking about how cold it is in New York, it is New York itself is the subject of this week's yay or nay round. So I'm going to give you 5 statements about New York in art. You just need to tell me whether they're true or false. Yay or nay. Statement number 1. The New York Times has won more Pulitzer Prizes than any other newspaper. The Pulitzer Prize is an award for journalism. What I'm contending here is that the New York Times has won more of those than any other newspaper in the world. If you believe that, you write yay. If you don't believe that, you write nay. It's a very simple, straightforward, and thrilling process. Statement number 2. In the song Empire State of Mind by, I can't remember whether it's Jay-Z featuring Alicia Keys or Alicia Keys featuring Jay-Z, but it's a wonderful, wonderful song. I'm contending here that in that song, Jay-Z mentions Bob Marley. He mentions Bob Marley. Do you believe that? Is that true? Is that false? If you know all the lyrics to the song, then you'll be able to say with some confidence whether that's true or false. But I'm assuming that you're not all encyclopedically aware of the lyrics of Empire State of Mind. Although maybe you are in a kind of Slumdog Millionaire type situation, and I've just gathered the 6 people in the world who, for many crazy and colourful reasons, know every single lyric to this song. In which case, that's a great thing for us to discuss in the answers section. That's really going to create some lovely content. Statement number 3. In New York theatre, the terms Broadway and off-Broadway refer only to the size of the venue the art is presented in and have nothing to do with the venue's location. Is that true? So if somebody says a play is on Broadway or off Broadway, they're not referring at all to the very real street. And I'll give you this one for free. There is a street in New York called Broadway, upon which there are many theatres. But can it really mean only the size of the venue that the art is presented in? Really? It's up to you guys. You're doing the quiz. I already know the answers. And thanks to Firefox finally waking up, I can now access them. Week 43. 43! Week 4. This is the 43rd quiz that I have done. 43rd quiz. How impressive is that? I'll answer it for you. Very, very impressive. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. You didn't have to say that, and you did, and I appreciate that. Statement number 4. Spider-Man, superhero, grew up in the New York borough of Brooklyn. Spider-Man, superhero, just in case you weren't aware of who or what Spider-Man is or was, grew up in the New York borough of Brooklyn. Now, him being a superhero, him being a fictional character, means that obviously this has all been made up by some kind of comic book writer, if there is such a thing. But we're looking for his fictional biography. He grew up in Brooklyn, or did he? It's up to you guys. It's up to you guys. The Roblet says, that's hard. Well, I'm pleased you said that, the Roblets. I'm pleased you said that. Because I think it's hard as well. And I'm glad. Because I want to challenge you with these. I want to challenge you. If I'm showing up every week, yeah, I'm putting on the fancy jacket. Yeah, you're getting a kick out of that. Yeah, I'm putting together all these great questions. Yeah, you're getting a kick out of that. Yeah, my kind of general, commentary over the course of the quiz is thrilling. Absolutely. I'm a raconteur. I'm aware of this. But if I'm not challenging you, then I don't think I'm doing my job right. Yeah? As I take my place in the long line of outstanding quiz show hosts, the Alex Trebecks, the Terry Wogans, the Bruce Forsyths, the Richard Osmonds, yeah? The Pat Sajaks in America. I need to be challenging people. I need to be really giving people an intellectual workout. That's how I'm doing it. Final statement of this round. Final statement. In Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, Kevin McAllister, the main character, played by Macaulay Culkin, sets up camp in the mid-renovation home of his uncle Rob. Bradley Walsh, says Maple Panda, absolutely. Now, I would like to consider myself as good a quiz show host as Bradley Walsh. But if I'm not challenging you guys, then I can't look myself in the mirror and say that. Every day I strive to be on the level of Mr. Bradley Walsh. I even considered getting one of those, those kind of bracelets, the kind that Lance Armstrong used to wear with his charity before people discovered all about him, that just said WWBWD. What would Bradley Walsh do? But the cost was actually quite prohibitive, so I just thought I'd remember it. I'll just remember that instead. But every day, I'm looking to reach the bar that the Bradley Walshes of this world have set. And, I like to think I'm doing okay. Next question. Musing, even. Let's go for this musing. The musing of the yay or nay round, all about New York. What's your favourite film set in New York City? Okay, so this is a couple of favourites. This is the difficulty with this system where I go into every week not knowing which rounds we're going to be playing. I come in every week having prepared 12 rounds for you to play. 12 rounds. Incredible. And the musings, some of them are more kind of, hey, make something up. Some of them are, hey, what's your preference? And I try to, make a nice mix of them. But, I can't do that necessarily. So perhaps if your favourite art from the last round's musing, if that was a film set in New York, then we may be doubling up answers here. But if you can think of another one, if you can think of another great film set in New York City, and it's one of the most, it's the backdrop to some of the most wonderful films, I think you can do it. I think you can do it, guys. I really do. I really, really do. What's your favorite film set in New York City? Let's head back to Maine. And my positioning changes in a way that I can't necessarily work out. The Roblets, who's that? I hope you're not saying who's that to Bradley Walsh. There's a little thing out there, the Roblets, that I think can help you out. It's a little search engine, and it's called Bing. And Bing is the arbiter of all knowledge in the world. You just say to Bing, hey Bing, who's Bradley Walsh? And Bing will say, Bradley Walsh is one of the premier comedic actors and quiz show hosts that the fine island of the United Kingdom has ever produced. Set of islands, including Ireland. Although that's more the British Isles. It's complicated. So I say do a little bit of research. Watch The Chase. Certainly look up a very funny clip of Bradley Walsh on The Chase where he has one of the possible answers. In The Chase, it's always multiple choice. And one of the choices on The Chase was a woman called Fanny. Now, in America, Fanny means bottom. In England, obviously, it's just a name. But Bradley Walsh, being the transcontinental star that he is, thought it was very amusing. And he really struggled to keep a straight face. In fact, he didn't keep a straight face at all. He really burst out laughing. And it was lovely to see. Monkey Pixie Funk, and also plays Graham in Doctor Who. This has become the Bradley Walsh week of I Am SmART, the Notme quiz. And do you know what? To quote the kids, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Bradley Walsh. Bradley Walsh, guys. Maybe we'll have a little look up of him after the next round. Bradley Walsh, guys, right. What have we got left? IKTV. I know that voice. Very simply, this is around cameraman George, if you would please do the honors. IKTV, I believe it is for this one, which is a lovely initialism for IKTV, for I know that voice. Taking it down to the initialism of IKTV. That's lovely. Sounds exciting, dynamic, doesn't it? We good, George? There we go. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. So, I've got 5 audio clips of famous people doing interviews, generally, because then it's the easiest one to not have background music going on. All you need to tell me is who they are. That's it. That's straightforward. Very, very straightforward. Do I need to do this? No, I don't think I need to do this. So I'm going to play you this first one. If you can't hear this, then do let me know, because I may need to change some things around, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed that you will be able to hear this. Here's number 1, voice clip. Just need to tell me, who is it? They will all be, it will be really meta if all 5 are Bradley Walsh. Then this might be the one round that we don't reference Bradley Walsh, because Bradley Walsh is not an interviewer, but I tell you who is an interviewer, Michael Parkinson. Michael Parkinson. A very famous interviewer in the UK, and all of these are taken from interviews with Michael Parkinson. Now, Michael Parkinson retired from interviewing a decade or so ago, maybe, quite a while ago. So none of these will be super duper up-to-date people. Take that into account. As we listen to the first clip.
When Brian died, we got a bit lost, because we needed a manager. All of us are artists and we're nothing else, so we can't manage ourselves or, look after ourselves in that way. And in the early days, there was the thing of making it big or, breaking into America, and we had a goal together. But when we reached about 28 or 29, it began to be, what's the goal? We've made it.
We can hear that. Is that an eek because it was too loud, Maple Panda? Is that an eek because you're terrified that you couldn't hear Maple Panda? Could you please define that eek? That would be lovely for me. Yes, we could hear it. Thank you, TB. Well, let's go with number 2 then.
How much longer do you give yourself doing
That's
this
Michael
thing, going
Parkinson.
around being a sort of
I don't know. I never thought I'd be doing it for 2 years even, When we started off, I never thought we'd make it very big anyway. And then when we're making records for 2 years and everybody still goes around calling us quite a new group, sort of. And I don't know, honestly. I think we're sort of pretty well set up for at least another year.
Pretty well set up for at least another year. Who's that? The first bit was obviously Michael Parkinson himself. But who's that second voice? Big star. Number 3?
It was just a very bad moment. My daughter wasn't talking to me. My career was gone at that moment, and everything was wrong. And I actually took out a gun. And then I had this little dog, it sounds so, and he crawled into my lap. And I thought, somebody needs me.
Keep it light. Let's not, gosh, let's not be talking about all of that kind of nonsense. Here we go. But that was number 3. I don't think I'm revealing too much there when I say an American. Number 4?
I think he does have now. I don't think that he did a few years ago. And I think that sometimes when you can get down and think, oh, God, why don't people understand me? Why are they saying this? Why are they saying that? What better person to look at than my own husband to see how somebody can turn all that around? I mean...
Somebody with a husband, a married person. Of course, in this progressive time, that could be a man with a husband. Didn't sound much like a man, though. But then again, in these progressive times, that doesn't always matter. And then final final voice that I think you should know. Although, is this the trickiest one? I've forgotten who this one is, but we'll see when we get there.
We came to do the bed scene. But by that time, she had kind of fallen out with me. And so she was kind of not talking to me. Oh, and the director says, how do you feel about this scene? I said, I'm fine. He said, you don't mind being in a bed with a woman who's not talking to you? I said, I've been married for a long time.
Been married for a long time. Did you hear that? Having a little laugh and a joke there with Michael Parkinson. Wait a minute. Oh, I didn't put in amusing for this one. Well, that's disappointing, so I'm going to have to tell you the musing, and you just have to listen to this voice to work out what the musing is. The final musing. You host a chat show. Yeah. You are told that you can interview any celebrity and to keep it jazzy whilst doing any activity. You know how these things sometimes happen when a chat show will have a previously recorded celeb on, and they'll be doing some kind of activity with them to keep it fresh and funky. That's what we're dealing with here. I'm going to give you any celebrity you want, alive, let's say, and one activity that you can do whilst interviewing them, in a way of that therapists might use sometimes in order to disarm a cagey child. You know, sometimes you have to treat celebrities like cagey children, and they think, well, I'm not going to answer that question. And you think, well, if we're playing Kaplunk, maybe you will. Maybe you will if we're playing Kaplunk. Or, hey, do you want to do some finger painting? Russell Crowe, do you want to do some finger painting? He said, well, yeah, all right, I'll do some finger painting then. I'll do some finger painting. And then you say, how's your relationship with your dad? And he's like, well, I feel like I have to be a bit of a tough guy. That kind of thing, yeah? Just breaking down the walls with an activity. Now, if you want it to be Kaplunk or finger painting, feel free. If you want it to be Russell Crowe, feel free. Although it might be more interesting to come up with your own person. That's just one man's opinion. That's just one man's opinion. Nana Hobbob, good morning. Good morning, Nana. You have effectively missed every single question here. Every single question. Did anybody want to hear any of those voice clips again? I know it's difficult sometimes when you've only, when you only get to listen to it once. If you want to listen to it again, I will permit it. But if not, then we'll move on. Hey, good morning, Nana. How are you today, Nana? Are you well? I hope you're well. Giving everybody else a chance, huh, Nana? By only coming in with the final musing, with a maximum of 3 points. So you might get the minute to win it. No, everyone's okay with it. Okay, so let's go back to main. Wonderful. No, that's going to get me for copyright, isn't it? Super Nash 18. Can you please do next week's quiz entirely in Russell Crowe's voice? Maybe I could. I can do characters. I can do impressions. Maybe that could be around. I could just do impressions of people, and then you'd have to guess who the impressions were. Might be too easy though, because like I say, I am very good at impressions. Very good at impressions. So just quickly, it is very cold at the moment. It is very snowy. Jesus and I, my son Jesus and I, went out this morning. I was going to try and put this picture on over here, load it into the computer and load it up, but because Firefox was... so I'm just going to have to show you here. This is how snowy it is. Oh, you can't really see that, can you? Well, why is that showing as green? Oh, I suppose it is kind of green. Oh, that's an interesting side effect that I didn't anticipate happening. Well, I'll post that one later on the socials. Oh, I could do the socials here, couldn't I? If anybody isn't following me on the socials, is this going to work? Hey, there's the socials. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Follow me all the way. Nana Hobbob, the round could be called Rustling Up Some Trivia. Nana, gosh, that's what this quiz was missing. I also want to share a little bit of art with you, if I may. You've got through the questions, and I commend you for doing so. You've done very well with that. And so I just wanted to give you a little bit of art that I've done. It was a poem last week. This time I've done a drawing. Basically, I've done a drawing using crayons of Ariana Grande if she were a giraffe. Ariana Girafande. Because she's got the very long hair, hasn't she? And I thought, well, she'd need to be a giraffe in order to... There's Ariana Grande's face, obviously. And she's a giraffe. There you go. Let's get on with some answers. There it is. Let's go for some music as well. Oh, that's quite loud, isn't it? There we go. That's better.
Don't be afraid to borrow.
Don't be afraid to borrow, it
says.
This is still too loud, isn't it?
Sounds, little ditties, tiny things. Just snatch them all up.
No. We're going next track. There we go. Okay. So what was the first round that we did? What was the first round? It was the odd one out, wasn't it? Odd one out. Let's go for some odd one out. Let's see if we can get some... there we go. There we go. Lovely, says Nana. Wonderful art, says TB. Maple Panda, that is art. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Powerful art, said Monkey Pixie Funk. Yeah, I think it makes a statement. I think it makes a statement. Even if you're not entirely sure what that statement is, I think the statement is still valid. Odd one out. Musing-wise, for odd one out... Oh, that's what it's doing. What is your favourite art right now? What is your favourite art right now? So here is where Maple Panda, before, we didn't want it. But now, we do want it. Get it in the chat. Get it in the chat, guys. What is your favourite art right now? Get it in the chat. We'll go through that afterwards. As we go through the answers here. As we go through the answers here. So this is our board. The answer to number 1, which is this one up here. We've got Josie and the Pussycats. That was Josie and the Pussycats from the 90s, early 2000s maybe. Rachel Lee Cook, Tara Reid, and Rosario Dawson playing a band. Number 2 was, of course, Scott Pilgrim versus the World. SPVTW, Scott Pilgrim versus the World, a very entertaining film with lots of video game references and stuff. It was really creative, really creative. Number 3, this is, I'd say, the easiest one. Number 3 here's Men in Black, of course. Wonderful double act between Mr. William Smith and Mr. Thomas Lee Jones. And then finally, we've got the Kevin Smith film, Chasing Amy. So these are our 4 films. Josie and the Pussycats, Scott Pilgrim versus the World, Men in Black, and Chasing Amy. But the question is, which is the odd one out? Here's part 1 of it. The odd one out is... Oh, look at that effect that I've created. The odd one out is Chasing Amy. But why is that the odd one out? It is about comic books, not based on comic books. Men in Black is based on a comic book. Not a lot of people know that. Josie and the Pussycats is based on a comic strip. And Scott Pilgrim versus the World is based on a comic book as well. But Chasing Amy is about a couple of people who make comic books. So it's a pretty challenging one. Pretty challenging one. So well done if you got that one right. The other 3 are comic book movies based on comic books. Whereas it itself is a movie about comic books. There we go. We got through that one eventually, my word. So 1 point for each of those correct answers, including the final one, even though that was a little bit trickier. Still just 1 point for each one of those, and I hope you got some of those right. But what is your favourite art right now? Let's have a little look at what we've got in here. TB Douglas, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie's books. Wow. What a name to be conjured with. Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Scandinavian? That sounds lovely. That sounds wonderful. And if there are any big book readers out there, give them a read. I haven't heard of... but I'm sure... parentheses, I think her writing is wonderful. Knew it was a woman. I think her writing is wonderful. That's fantastic. That's absolutely fantastic. SJ Beck 72, Not Me Special Quiz Jacket. Well, gosh, SJ Beck... Thank you so much. I wasn't anticipating a compliment in that way, but God, I'll always receive them with great gusto and pleasure. Thank you. Monkey Pixie Funk, Sue Gray's Redacted Report. Lovely. Little bit political there, but if you like reading political things that have been redacted, then I imagine that's really up your street. So I hope you enjoy that, Monkey Pixie Funk. And if you fancy summarizing it, for the rest of us, then I'm sure we'd really love to read it because we wouldn't love to read it, but we would love to know what's in it. Cameraman George Banksy's art. I like that he's taken the opportunity to use his art to make a statement. Absolutely, George. That's great. That's great. Like, he's not the only one. He's not the only one. Let's not forget Ariana Girafande making those statements. Maple Panda, some sort of outdoor winter light sculpture installation I saw they built in Toronto recently. Oh, my word. Can we find this? Outdoor light installation. Toronto. Let's see what we've got. Exterior light installers. No, that's the wrong thing. Maybe news? Is it the interactive light installation coming to downtown Kingston? A new red hut where you can isolate and contemplate life? Wowzers. Toronto really pushing the boat out. With their outdoor arts. That's a great shout, Maple Panda. Not a lot of people picking up on the outdoor light installation, so well done you. Nana Hobbob, I'll give in to some recency bias and say that I enjoyed watching Don't Look Up last night, although it felt just a little too long. I will say, Nana Hobbob, I'm kind of with you. I watched that on Christmas Day. On my own. Cameraman George had gone out to see some family members. So I sat in on my own and watched Don't Look Up, and I have to say it was probably the most miserable film that I've ever watched on Christmas Day. So I suppose there's something to that. But yeah, maybe a little too long. Still, I'd give it 9 out of 10. Super Nash18, I'm appreciating lots of woodworkers on Instagram at the moment. That's lovely. You get that real satisfaction, I think, from seeing something hewn by hand. Is this too loud? Or is it just in my ears? It's a touch loud. Let's take it down to 5%. There we go. So it's just there in the background. That's nice. Well done, Super Nash18. Maple Panda is at the Harbourfront Centre called Nordic Lights. Okay, let's just have a look at this then. Nordic Lights Toronto. Let's have a look. Ooh, okay. Let's see if we can find this. I've got a thing on the main page where we can look at some examples, I think. Is that... what's this called? Nordic Lights. Oh, there we go. So you guys can now see what I'm seeing. That looks lovely stuff, doesn't it? Lovely. Nordic Lights. Oh, so it's this big... Wowzers, look at that. All those Canadians standing at a very respectful distance from each other. That's nice. Wowzers, yeah. Liking that. Oh, this is that as well. Oh, my word. Look at these. Just lying on the floor. This is Toronto, guys. Your butts will get frozen to the floor. Wonderful stuff. Lovely suggestion there, Maple Panda. Really enjoyed that. That's great. So I think points all round for that. If you wrote down a musing there, then you get a point for it, because that is some really great stuff there. What do we have next? We had yay or nay. Let's go for yay or nay now. Oh yeah, that worked. Good. The musing for yay or nay. What is your favorite film set in New York City? Now, obviously, and I want you to get them in the chat. The Don't Look Up is, I think, partially in New York City when they're on the that morning show with Kate Blanchett and Tyler Perry's Tyler Perry. But if you can think of another film, Nana, maybe a more specifically New York one, then that'd be great. Why have these emotes not popped up? Anyway, I want you to get it in the chat. What's your favourite film set in New York City while we go through some of these answers? The New York Times has won more Pulitzer Prizes than any other newspaper. Do you believe that? Yay or nay? Yay or nay? That is yay. The actual number is 132 Pulitzer Prizes won by the New York Times. Well done them. Can lord it over people, I think, in true coastal elite fashion. It's really the elite coastal newspaper. Number 2, in the song Empire State of Mind, Jay-Z mentions Bob Marley. Is that a yay or nay? That is a yay, despite the fact that Bob never lived in New York. So why is he mentioning him over other New York people? I don't know. Couldn't tell you. That's Jay-Z. He's a crazy guy. Number 3, in New York theatre, the terms Broadway and off-Broadway refer only to the size of the venue the art is presented in and have nothing to do with the venue's location. That's a yay as well. That is a yay as well. An interesting fact that I just wanted to share with you. And I thought that this would be an interesting way to share it with you. Nothing to do with Broadway the street. Nothing to do with it. Just in terms of how big the auditorium is. And you get Broadway, you get off-Broadway, you also get off-Broadway, which I didn't realise before living in New York either. And that's like, I don't know, that's when it's only like 20 or 30 people. And then off-Broadway is only plays that are taking place within somebody's house, and so you do run the risk there of it just being a kind of kidnapping situation. So if you're interested in seeing an off Broadway play, really be on your best behavior, take all relevant precautions, ideally take someone else with you, and make sure that people know where you are at all times. Number 4, Spider-Man, superhero, grew up in the New York borough of Brooklyn. Yep. The Roblets said that it was a difficult one. It's a nay. Actually grew up in Queens, which is another borough of New York. A slightly larger one than Brooklyn. But yeah, well done, Spider-Man. He's a great guy. Great guy. Really does a lot for the city. Number 5, in Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, Kevin McAllister sets up camp in the mid-renovation home. He's renovating it. I couldn't work out a better way of saying that, a more succinct way of putting that, so that's what we got. Mid-renovation home of his uncle Rob. Was it Rob? Was it Rob McAllister? Yay, it was. It was Rob McAllister there, so well done if you got that one right as well. 1 point for each of those that you got correct. What's your favourite film set in New York City? Let's go to the chat. SJ Beck 72, Ghostbusters. That's a great one. That's a great one, SJ Beck 72. And really getting into you get a real sense of New York, especially because that was kind of mid-80s. So it was before it got all kind of sanitized again. So you still kind of get a little bit, obviously a more sanitized version of that kind of grimy New York City that popularized in a lot of Martin Scorsese's cinema in the 70s, when he made a lot of nasty kind of films that a lot of people really like. Super Nash 18 went with Ghostbusters as well. Ghostbusters, very famous, very exciting. A lovely film with the fire station as well that you can visit. It's a real fire station. It's got a little thing outside saying with the ghost, pointing through the thing. So that's a fun. Maybe I'll visit it soon and I'll take a picture of you and you'll be able to say, I did that. That'll be a nice little connection between us, won't it? Super Nash 18 and SJ Beck 72. TB Douglas, you've got mail. Old school, but such a comforting watch. Absolutely. Back when email was in its infancy and people were a little bit scared of it. Because you didn't know who it was. Just really hammering in the terror, I think, that we now get with the anonymity of the internet, that somebody control you. And I've got no idea who this person is, no idea who they are whatsoever, and they're attacking me. They're attacking my family, or my choice of clothing, or my facial hair. They're attacking me. Back in the day, You've Got Mail shows us, yes, that's terrible, but you can also fall in love with them, and it can be very romantic. So give trolls a chance, maybe? Is that the message? I'm not sure. That's a great choice there, TB. Well done. Fame, says Monkey Pixie Funk. Yes. Again, that's in that kind of grimy New York. Slightly older, but then the fabulosity coming out of Fame. Really, really good stuff. Yeah, lots of high kicks, lots of leg warmers, lots of exuberance. These are kids that they just want to fulfill their dreams. And their dreams are dance. That's great. Escape from New York, says Nana Hobbob. Absolutely. Again, kind of that grimy 70s New York. 2070s, that is, because it's set in the future, but very much a product of its time. Lots of wireframe models in that very pleasing, very gratifying way that old science fiction films had. Yeah, It's lovely to be in New York. I tell you what, sometimes you do need to escape it, though. I will be going away next weekend for that exact reason, which means that there won't be a quiz there next week. So that's a nice segue to bringing that up. Cameraman George, Inside Llewyn Davis. Great film with great songs. Yeah, we watched that, didn't we? We watched that, George. Inside Llewyn Davis. A wonderful film where you get to the end of it and you think, what happened there? And the answer is nothing, but that's fine. That's fine. Something about a cat, something about a guitar. It's fine. Just enjoy. It's all very washed out. It's fine. Is that Justin Timberlake? It's fine. It's just Inside Llewyn Davis. Just let it wash over you. It's fine. Carey Mulligan, she doesn't seem very nice. It's fine. That was my interpretation of Inside Llewyn Davis. Maple Panda, Sex and the City. I'm not a connoisseur. Oh, actually, When Harry Met Sally. We'll take When Harry Met Sally, maybe. Although Sex and the City, wonderful film as well. Wonderful film. A very different New York in Sex and the City than the Sex and the City in many of the other suggestions from people. A much fancier New York because they have wealth that can really only be dreamt about by many people. But are they happy? And the film says, yeah, really happy. And When Harry Met Sally, yes. Two people falling in love. I mean, it's so simple, but it's just wonderful, isn't it? Two people fall in love for a long time when, you think, well, this isn't really going to work because he's kind of, and she's kind of, but then it works and it fits together and it's happy. It's a happy film. Eventually, so largely a fantasy film. Monkey Pixie Funk, also a big fan of Friday the 13th. 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. He takes it and takes it with some aplomb. Yeah, well done to everybody who made their suggestions there. Points all round. I think points all round. As we go to our final round today, it was I Know That Voice. We're going to have to stop that pretzel music. There we go. That was lovely. Thank you, James Flamestar, in the bed of the Blue-Eyed Girl. Oh, that's a lovely name for a song. Bit racist though. So we had the musing, which I didn't write down. So the musing is: you host a chat show. You are told that you can interview any celebrity and to keep it jazzy, fresh and funky whilst doing any activity. Which celeb do you pick and what do you do with them? So I want a celebrity and I want... Is this going to work? It works this time. So in the chat, I will be doing something with somebody. Or I would interview someone by doing something. Okay? This is what we're after. This is what we're looking for. This is what we're going to get. As we go through the answers to I Know That Voice. IKTV, baby. Number 1.
When Brian died, we got a bit lost, because we needed a manager. All of us are artists and we're nothing else, so we can't manage ourselves or, look after ourselves in that way. And in the early days, there was the thing of making it big or, breaking into America, and we had a goal together. But when we reached about 28 or 29, it began to be, what's the goal? We've made it.
What's the goal? John Lennon. Well done if you got that one. In a similar vein, also this, number 2.
How much longer do you give yourself doing this thing, going around being a sort of
I don't know. I never thought I'd be doing it for 2 years even, When we started off, I never thought we'd make it very big anyway. And then when we've been making records for 2 years and everybody still goes around calling us quite a new group, sort of. And I don't know, honestly. I think we sort of pretty well set up for at least another year.
At least another year, he says. Mick Jagger, who's still performing today. He does not sound that young anymore. Mick Jagger, well done if you got that one right.
It was just a very bad moment. My daughter wasn't talking to me. My career was gone at that moment, and everything was wrong. And I actually took out a gun. And then I had this little dog, it sounds so... And he crawled into my lap. And I thought, somebody needs me.
Joan there, bumming everybody out with her tales of potential suicide, but what What a wonderful performer. Very acerbic comedian. Not always to my taste, but really, really mean. Number 4?
I think he does have now. I don't think that he did a few years ago. And I think that sometimes when you can get down and think, oh, God, why don't people understand me? Why are they saying this? Why are they saying that? What better person to look at than my own husband to see how somebody can turn all that around? I mean...
Victoria Beckham there, talking about her husband, David Beckham. See? It all works out. And then the final one here.
We came to do the bed scene. but that time she had kind of fallen out with me. And so she was kind of not talking to me. Oh, and the director says, how do you feel about this scene? I said, I'm fine. He said, you don't mind being in a bed with a woman who's not talking to you? I said, I've been married for a long
time, he says. Billy Connolly there. Billy Connolly. He knows what it's like to be married, to live be in a bed with a woman who just can't stand him. There we go. Congratulations if you got those right. Some of those were pretty tricky, I think. Yeah, 1 point for each one of those correct answers, and well done if you got any of those. Let's go to the musings. Let's see what we're doing. TB Douglas wants to interview Olivia Colman in a life drawing class with wine. With anything with Olivia Colman with wine, I think is improved. Because it really does loosen her up. We've seen that. We saw it at the Oscars. We see it every time she goes on Graham Norton. She really is just really lubed with a little bit of wine. Just lets her opinions fly. Goes on Graham Norton to publicise the film. Can't even remember what the name of her character was. What a card! Olivia Colman just doesn't care, and that's just a very endearing quality. I think a very endearing quality. That's a great choice. SuperNash18 wants to go water skiing with Tony Bennett. Dangerous. I think Tony Bennett, I read somewhere that he's 106 now. So very frail, very old, brittle, I would assume. Still got a wonderful quality to his voice, wonderful tone to his voice. But going water skiing with him would be kind of akin to going water skiing with an ice sculpture or with a Ming vase. Personally speaking, I'm not sure I'd be able to relax in that situation, and I wouldn't want to be known as the interviewer who murdered Tony Bennett in a lake. But one man's opinion. It's a great choice, this SuperNash18. Really gets you thinking. Because I'm not sure I can picture Tony Bennett water skiing, but I'm sure he'd give it a try. I mean, he used to hang out with gangsters, Sinatra and all of that. Maple Panda, youth hosteling with Chris Eubank. I think youth hosteling is an interesting one, especially with regard to an interview. I don't know whether this is taking it more from like an interview in a chat show kind of way, and more into a slightly more in-depth Louis Theroux style, in-depth, I'm going to live with Chris Eubank for a while, or I'm going to follow Chris Eubank as he goes youth hosteling around Eastern Europe, perhaps. He really is. I've been fascinated with the Eastern Bloc for many, many years, and this is the best way I can think of to experience it. I'm not a boxer, I'm a pugilist. That could be... I would watch it, Maple Panda. I would watch it. I think we'd really get to see the real Chris Eubank. Away from his fancy suits, away from his preposterous 18-wheeler truck. Let's get to the real guy. Yeah, let's strip it all away. Let's get to the real guy. I think you've got a real good instinct for this, Maple Panda. That's lovely. Nana Hobbob browsing eBay items with Conan O'Brien. Conan can riff on anything. Conan can make anything funny, even just something as simple as being pale, or being tall, or being ginger. He can just make it work. He can make it absolutely sing. So I think it's fish in a barrel, I think, with Conan O'Brien. You're going to get great content. Of course you are. Browsing eBay items as well. You get the benefit. Maybe you stumble across a bargain. Maybe you do that as well. That's great. Monkey Pixie Funk stargazing with Stevie Wonder. I mean, I'm sure he'd enjoy it. Stevie Wonder seems like the kind of guy, he's just very affable. He's just going to kind of get on with it. I would worry that you're not really taking into account Stevie Wonder. Obviously, he is a star. And so looking at stars as a star, perhaps there's your through line for it. But I think that the thing, maybe you've forgotten this, but the thing with Stevie Wonder, stargazing, it's all about telescopes and looking through and, oh, can you see that? Can you see that? Stevie Wonder's actually blind. Can't see nothing. So I'm not necessarily sure what, unless you were describing stars to him, which could be interesting. Like I say, he's going to have a great time. He's Stevie Wonder. He's got that joy in his heart. But what I read from that is I would like to speak to Stevie Wonder, and I'd quite like to go stargazing. And I'm not sure we're really connecting the dots there. Again, one man's opinion. Did you not realise Stevie Wonder is blind? Oops, awkward. It's a little bit awkward, especially if you didn't realise until... I mean, one would hope that your researchers or somebody on the show would have, clued you in. Are we sure we want to do this, Monkey? Because... MPF, because he's kind of... Nothing. It's not like Legally Blind, where it's like, I can't drive a car, but I can, if there are bright lights or whatever. It's like, nothing. Cameraman George, skateboarding with Tony Hawk, he can teach me. Again, you're. I think that's a good one. Obviously, Tony Hawk's going to be very comfortable with skateboarding. That's going to put him at ease. That's his natural space. That's his natural. He is most at ease when he has the board and the wheels under his feet. Yeah, and he's just getting gnarly. But also, you would learn a skill, and that's always fun to do. So I think that's a good. Yeah, they're thinking quite practically there, Cameraman George, and that's. I mean, that's on trend, on character. Points all round, guys. Points all round. Woo! 123. Well, we started a little bit late, didn't we? We started a little bit late. So I think that's fine. We've only got one round to go, guys. You know it as well as I do. It's the most exciting minute in quiz show history. Let's get cracking. Minute to win it. That's right. Minute to win it. Well, you have got a minute to guess what's going on in my mind. So this round is all about, obviously, the other rounds we're looking to improve our art. How we're improving our art here is you need to connect with me, yeah? You need to connect with me. You need to read what is going on inside my mind. By guessing as many within the minute. You're going to be typing them out. Woo says Nana Hobbob. Thank you, Nana. Thank you. Yeah, it's the most exciting minute in quiz show history, so that's absolutely fine. Absolutely understandable. Great reactions there, guys. I need you to give me as many, based on the fact that it's snowing. I need you to give me as many cold songs as you can. You did such a good job with the movies a couple of weeks ago. Now we're doing songs. Cold songs. Cold, chilly, frozen, ice, whatever. In a song. Get it in. Read my mind. Read it. What have I written down? What have I chosen? Cold, ice, chill, chilly, frosty, whatever you want. Cold as ice, says TB. Frozen. Let it snow. Baby, it's cold outside. You're cold as ice. Baby, it's cold outside. These are all great, guys. All great. Ice, ice, baby. Well done, monkey. Well done, monkey. White Christmas, says TB. That's great. That's pretty chilly. Christmas, that's cold, yeah. What am I thinking? What have I put down? Last 10 seconds, guys. Let's keep on getting them in. That's a minute. My word. Good job, guys. Frosty the Snowman. That's a great shout. Super Nash 8. Let It Snow and Frosty the Snowman has really got into this. And I respect that. I respect that. Wow. Gosh, it's exciting. Maple Panda, can't think of any. That's fine. That's fine. You only have a minute. You only have a minute. And if you're connecting with me, then you're connecting with me. And if you're not, you're not. Hot and cold. That works. Doesn't have to be just cold. Hot and cold. Salt and pepper. Yeah? And so now, this is a live camera. Right here. Let's see if anybody got it right. Frozen Madonna. I'm going to assume, TB, and I'm going to ask for your honesty here. Did you mean Frozen by Madonna when you wrote down Frozen? Or did you mean the song from Frozen, i.e. Let It Go? Maple Panda, I'd be terrible on a game show with a time limit and dramatic music. It does wrench up that tension, doesn't it? That dramatic music. TB did mean it. TB gets those extra 2 points, the potentially all-important 2 points. I believe you, TB. I believe you. So, guys, let's count up our scores. 1 point for every correct answer you got, including 1 point for every musing that you wrote down. And TB gets the extra 2. Excuse me. Whilst you're doing that, and get them in the chat. Get your answers in the get your scores in the chat so we can get that high scorer. While you tot up your scores there, I want to remind you that in this quiz, aside from picking around the following week, you are only competing against yourself. There is no point threshold to being smart. If you've got all the questions right that you realistically could have been expected to get, you are smart. And if you are watching this on YouTube, not live, make sure you write down your score and your musing answers in the comments below. So I'd love to hear how you did. You could be the first person ever in the history of YouTube to actually write down how many points you got and what your musings were. There's only one first, and that could be you. So let's have a look at these. Cameraman George got a 14. That's a lovely. Nana Hobbob got a 0. Didn't even do that last musing, but that's fine. That's fine. Oh, I guess 3. Well, there we go. There we go. You got a 3. That's good. Super Nash 8 with 11. Thank you. 18 for me, says TB. Wowzers. SJ Beck 72 with a 9 only. That's fine. That's fine. Have you cracked double digits yet, SJ Beck 72? You've been a diligent quizzer for the last few weeks. Have you cracked 10 points yet? Because that's a lovely threshold. That's a lovely goal to have in front of you. I would love to be able to get to double digits. A lot of great scores here, guys. A lot of great scores. Super Nash 8, well done you for cracking that double dig. If you're over half, I mean, that's, But there's no doubt here who the high point scorer is. TB. It was immaterial in the end. Already had 16 before those extra 2 points, but TB Douglas is the high point scorer. So let's all give a hearty congratulations to TB in the chat. Well done, TB. Here to reward you some pictures of me and my son Jesus. There you go. That's for you, TB. SJ Beck 72, not yet. Absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. That's it. As I say, that's a great goal to have ahead of you. One of these weeks, you're going to hit double digits, and you're going to feel so good. That's wonderful. Maple Panda, I lost track, but under 10. That's fine. Again, if you crack those double digits, then that's a lovely feeling. That can carry you through the rest of a lovely Sunday. Well done, TB Douglas. Thank you to Maple Panda, and thank you, Super Nash one. Nana Hobbob, lovely emote work there. Lovely emote work there. So, upshot of this is, as I mentioned earlier, I will be out of action next week because I've lasted as long as I could. I thought I'm not going to take a holiday, a vacation in 2022. I'm going to last as long as I possibly can, and I've lasted till the beginning of February, but I do need to just step away just for myself, like a little bit of self-care, if that's a thing. So there will be no quiz next week, but we'll be diving straight back in the following week. When is that? The following week, we'll be coming back with another 12 potential rounds for you to play. My word, what an achievement. On the 13th, Sunday the 13th of February, we'll be back. We'll be quizzing, we'll be learning, we'll be having a great, great time. Thank you very much for joining me, everybody. I hope you have had fun. I hope you have learned a little something. I hope you have felt creative. I hope you have improved your art all at the same time. I am Notme. I am art. And I hope that you'll join me next time, same place, in 2 weeks, 13th of February, where you have another opportunity to improve your art and say to yourself, yeah, baby, I am smart. Nana Hobbob, take care of yourself, and Jesus. Absolutely. I will be giving plenty of updates on Jesus. You'll be getting all that good stuff if you follow me on the socials. But thank you so much, guys. One final little sip. And I'll see you next time. Have a lovely fortnight.
So there we go, and well done you, whatever your score might be. I definitely think that you are smart, though prob's not as smart as me. Your art will be better, trust me on this, should be nothing short of sublime. That's why you learn, and don't stop now, I'll see you right here next time. I am smart.